Welcome back to the deep dive. Now, usually when we sit down here, we're looking outward. We take a pile of research and try to decode, the economy or a company's history or big geopolitical shifts. We're trying to give you a map of the world out there.
Yeah.
But today, we're doing the exact opposite. The materials we're looking at today, they aren't about the landscape you see on your commute. They're about the landscape inside you.
We're looking at the architecture of the modern psyche.
Exactly.
And more specifically, why it feels the way it does. Why, with all the progress and all the technology and the options, there's this kind of persistent background noise of anxiety. We're looking at the structure of your own discontent.
Right. Why are we the way we are? And honestly, looking at the core argument we have in front of us today, I think we need to brace ourselves.
Yeah.
Because the opening premise is, it's aggressive. It's not a warm hug.
No, it's not designed to comfort you. It's designed to confront you. And that confrontation, it starts with a very simple, very unsettling claim. You believe you want to be free. You tell yourself, you tell your friends, you probably tell your therapist, that you want autonomy. But you don't. You want to belong.
Whoa.
And that desire to belong is the first quiet betrayal you commit against yourself every single day.
Okay, see, I have to stop you right there. Because that feels like a huge generalization. I mean, if you ask me or anyone listening, do you want to be free? The answer is obviously yes.
Of course.
We value autonomy above almost everything. We live in a world of endless options. We choose our jobs, our partners, where we live. We are constantly sculpting our destinies.
Right.
To say we don't want freedom sounds like bad philosophy. It just feels wrong.
It feels wrong because you have a polished self-image.
Yeah.
We all do. We tell ourselves we're these rational, sovereign individuals making all these independent choices. But if we actually look at this through, say, a psychoanalytic lens, if we really strip away the vanity, that autonomy it's largely a hallucination. Beneath that shiny surface of choice, there is a different frequency. There's what you could call a silent hum of exhaustion.
That phrase, that jumped out at me from the notes, the silent hum of exhaustion. It felt uncomfortably familiar.
It's familiar to everyone, but here's the twist, the pivot. That exhaustion isn't coming from rebellion. It's not the exhaustion of fighting the system.
Right, not from raging against the machine.
No, it's coming from the desperate, tiring, endless effort to fit in. The argument here is that you've been taught to see conformity as a virtue, compliance as sanity, and any deviation as a failure. So when I say you don't really want to be free, what I mean is that when the human brain is given the choice between the terrifying openness of true freedom and, say, the warm, suffocating blanket of belonging.
The modern brain chooses belonging.
Almost every single time.
So basically what we're doing today is a kind of psychological dissection of why we sabotage our own happiness just to be seen as civilized.
That is exactly the mission. We're exploring the darker current of civilization. We have to understand the costs. Because we think of civilization as this great gift.
And it is, in many ways.
In many ways it is. It's the only reason we aren't, eating each other in the woods. But the argument here is that it comes with a massive price tag. And the currency we pay with is our own psychology. We pay with our instincts.
Okay, so let's get into the mechanics of that trade. If we are trading freedom for belonging, how does society actually force us to do that? Is it just fear? Are we just afraid of being, canceled or fired or cast out?
Fear is part of it, but fear is it's a primitive tool. It's a bludgeon.
Right.
The miracle of contemporary culture, and really of any effective civilization, is that it doesn't just use the stick, it uses the carrot. It has made us desire our own domestication.
We desire our own domestication. That is a haunting image. It sounds like some sci-fi dystopia where the prisoners are locking their own cells.
But it's the reality of the social contract. We don't just obey the rules. We admire them. We look at the standards of productivity or wellness or emotional stability, and we don't feel oppressed by them. We feel aspirational toward them, yes. And this is where we have to talk about the superego.
The superego, right. Psych 101. It's the part of the brain that's like the inner parent or the police officer, the conscience.
That's the standard definition, yeah. But we need to add a crucial twist to that. We think of the superego as this stern shouting figure saying, don't do that, that's bad. But the more nuanced view here is that the modern superego is much more subtle. It doesn't just police us, it seduces us.
It seduces us.
It makes a trade. It whispers to you, be good and you will be loved. Be normal and you will be safe.
Be normal and you will be safe, I think. I think that resonates with a lot of people. It's that feeling that if I just check all the boxes, good job, clean house, the right opinions, a 401k, then nothing bad can happen. It's like an insurance policy against chaos.
Precisely. It's a protection racket.
Yeah.
So we comply, we start trimming our edges, we silence our own contradictions, we perform the role of the well-adjusted adult.
Okay.
And the key insight here is that this isn't just social pressure from the outside, it becomes psychic architecture. The personal and the cultural get woven together so tightly you just can't tell them apart.
Give me a concrete example of that. How would I know if it's me feeling something or if it's just the architecture telling me how to feel?
Think about anger. If you feel a private shame about your own anger, not just, that you shouldn't yell at someone, but that the feeling itself is wrong or toxic,
Yeah.
that isn't just you being sensitive. That's the echo of a civilization that fears violence. You've internalized the social rules so deeply that you police your own feelings before they even surface. You feel guilty for the mere existence of the impulse.
So my internal feelings are actually just internalized external rules.
In many cases, yes. Your guilt over desire is the residue of moral engineering. Even that anxiety you feel about not being enough, not productive enough, not attractive enough, that is the psychological footprint of a system that demands endless optimization. We're building our own psychic prisons and calling it self-improvement.
That is heavy, but it begs the question, if we're trimming our edges to fit into this architecture, what are we cutting off? What's being repressed? Because, if I'm repressing the urge to steal a car or punch a stranger, that's probably good, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't want a world without any repression.
We definitely want you to repress the urge to steal the car. Civilization needs that. But the repression goes so much deeper than just crime. According to this Freudian view, there are two fundamental forces or drives that govern our lives, and civilization requires us to wage war on both of them.
And these are Eros and Thanatos.
Eros and Thanatos.
I've heard the terms, but let's just make sure we're clear on the definitions here. Eros is the love drive.
Roughly, yes.
Yeah.
Eros is the life instinct. It's the drive for connection, for creation, sexuality, preservation. It's a binding force. It makes you want to build a family, write a book, or merge with another person. It brings things together.
Okay. And Thanatos. That sounds like a comic book villain.
The villain was named after the concept, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanatos is the death drive. But don't think of it just as wanting to die.
Right.
Think of it as the drive toward dissolution. It's a part of the psyche that wants to return to a state of zero tension. It's aggression, destruction, tearing down structures. It's the compulsion to return to the inorganic. It's the force that says, enough.
So Eros builds up, Thanatos tears down.
Exactly. And civilization obviously has a massive problem with the tearing things down part.
Right.
You can't run a society if everyone's acting on their aggressive instincts. So civilization isn't some triumph of good over evil. It's more of a forced, uneasy alliance where we all agree to suppress our aggression and redirect our sexuality so that we can live together without killing each other. We have to renounce our most fundamental instincts to buy our entry into the city gates.
Okay, I'm following the logic. We agree to suppress the aggression, we bottle it up, but, basic physics, or at least the metaphors from it, tells us energy doesn't just disappear. If I'm not letting that aggression out, where does it go?
That is the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And the answer is, well, it's terrifying. It turns inward.
It attacks the host.
It attacks the self. This is one of the most profound insights in psychoanalysis. When you suppress the aggression you feel toward your boss, the traffic, the constraints of your life, it loops back around. Since it can't go outward, it becomes self-criticism. It becomes guilt. It becomes depression.
Wait, so you're saying that the voice in my head at 3 in the morning asking, why can't you just get it right? Why are you such a failure?
Yeah.
That's not my conscience trying to help me.
No, that is your own suppressed aggression.
Yeah.
That is Thanatos dude denied a target in the world, deciding to target you instead.
Wow.
The harsher you are on yourself, often the more aggression you're holding back from the world. You aren't bad for thinking those things. You're just civilized. You're paying the tax of being a good citizen, and the tax is self-hatred.
That completely reframes self-criticism. It's not a moral failing, it's displaced violence. That's actually, in a dark way, kind of relieving to hear. But I have to push back a bit. Surely it's not all bad. I mean, we repress these things, but look at what we build. We have art, science, cities, technology. We aren't just sitting around being depressed. We're creating amazing things.
You are absolutely right. And there's a word for that process, too. It's sublimation. This is the alchemy of the psyche.
Alchemy. Turning lead into gold.
Turning base instincts into socially acceptable, even noble pursuits. We take that raw, dangerous energy, both the sexual energy of Eros and the aggressive energy of Thanatos, and we transmute it. We channel it into work, into art, into competition.
The research had some really specific historical examples of this I found fascinating. It seems like every era has its own, I don't know, flavor of sublimation.
Yes, exactly. The history of civilization is basically a history of different styles of sublimation. Take the Renaissance. We look at a Botticelli painting or a Michelangelo sculpture, and we see high culture. We see beauty, divinity.
Right, the pinnacle of human achievement.
It is. But if you look closer, what you're really seeing is sexual anxiety and religious guilt frozen into these beautiful forms. The intensity of that art comes from the intensity of the repression. The energy has to go somewhere, so it bursts out in marble and paint. The chisel hitting the stone is a form of aggression, just redirected into creation. The tension in the statue's muscle is the tension in the artist's mind.
Or the example of Sparta, that was brutal.
The beating of boys to teach endurance. A culture demanding the total sacrifice of the soft inner self for the hard outer shell of the warrior.
Yeah.
Or even Victorian England women fainting from tight corsets. That wasn't just fashion, it was repression manifesting physically. Yeah. The body literally collapsing under the weight of the social demand to be contained.
It seems like every era has its own version of the corset. Which, I guess, brings us to today. We don't wear corsets, and hopefully we're not beating children to teach them stoicism. So, have we evolved past this, or have we just rebranded it?
We have absolutely rebranded it. We've just swapped the corset for the smartwatch.
Oh.
We have wellness now. We have self-optimization. But make no mistake, this is the new sublimation.
That feels like a cynical take, doesn't it? I mean, if I'm going to the gym and eating well, isn't that just me taking care of myself? How is that repression?
It can be self-care. But ask yourself why you're doing it. When you're curating your Instagram feed, or grinding for that promotion, or tracking your sleep data to get a better score, are you doing it for the pure joy of life? Or are you channeling your anxiety into a socially acceptable format?
You're saying we channel the need for connection into curated intimacy.
And we transform our aggression into competitive grinding in the workplace. And there's a very provocative point here. We think building the perfect body or the perfect personal brand is an act of freedom. We think, I'm doing this for me. I'm living my best life.
Right. It feels like empowerment. I'm the CEO of my own life, that kind of thing.
But the argument is that this is actually a ritual of sacrificing the primal self on the altar of order. You are working incredibly hard to make yourself into a product that society will accept. You're polishing the cage. You're turning yourself into a commodity, and you're proud of how marketable you are.
Polishing the cage, that hurts. But you know, the worst part is, and I think everyone feels this, it never feels like enough. That's the thing that drives me crazy. You hit the goal, you get the promotion, you get the likes, and 5 minutes later, the hunger is back. You feel incomplete again.
And here is where we get to the darkest, but maybe the most important insight of this deep dive. That dissatisfaction, that feeling that the target is always moving.
Yeah.
That is not a bug in the system, that is the feature.
The system is designed to keep us unsatisfied.
Think about it, the economy of repression.
Yeah.
The system needs you to be incomplete. If you were truly satisfied, if you were whole, if you were content with who you were, you wouldn't need to keep buying things.
Oh, right.
You wouldn't need to keep working 60 hours a week. You wouldn't need to keep confessing your flaws on social media and trying to fix them with new products.
So my feeling of inadequacy is actually the fuel for the economy.
The insight here is devastating. You are not failing to correspond, you are succeeding too well.
Explain that, succeeding too well.
The guilt you feel, the anxiety that you aren't doing enough, that's proof that the system is working perfectly on you. You've internalized the command to strive so deeply that you police yourself better than any dictator ever could. You are the perfect subject because you believe your servitude is your own ambition. You're running on a treadmill, powering the grid, and thinking you're running a race.
It's almost a relief to hear, but it's also infuriating. Because it leaves us in this total bind. If the system is rigged and my own brain is conspiring with it, what do we do? How do we fix this?
See, that's the instinct, isn't it? We immediately ask, how do we fix it? We want a solution, a hack. We want to be authentic.
Just be yourself. That's the standard advice. Strip away the layers, find the real you.
And this philosophy just shoots that down immediately. Just be yourself is a trap. It assumes there's some pure pre-cultural you hiding underneath all the layers like a diamond covered in mud. But there isn't.
There isn't.
You've been shaped by culture since you were born. Your language, your desires, your fears, they're all cultural. There's no wild human to return to. You're like an onion. If you peel away all the layers of culture, there's nothing left in the middle.
So we can't go back to nature. We can't unknow civilization.
No. And the other trap is just cynicism. The idea that it's all a performance, so nothing matters. That's just a lazy way to be numb. It lets you off the hook.
So if we can't be our true selves, because that doesn't really exist, and we shouldn't just be cynical, what is the honest position? What's left for us?
The goal isn't to resolve the tension. The goal is to inhabit it.
Inhabit the tension. That sounds abstract. What does that look like on a Tuesday afternoon when I'm stressed out?
It means you stop asking, how do I fit in? And you start asking, what is my failure to fit in trying to tell me?
Oh, I like that. So instead of seeing the friction as a failure on my part, see it as a signal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you feel that dissonance, when you feel like you're faking it at a dinner party, or you feel that sudden surge of anger or sadness that doesn't fit the vibe, don't shove it down. Don't rush to fix it or medicate it or hide it.
Because that friction,
yeah,
that's the real thing.
That inability to be the perfect citizen, the inability to be the happy, productive little worker bee, that is actually the only part of you that's still alive. The part of you that resists is the part of you that's real. The part of you that fails to fit is the part of you that matters.
It's fidelity in dissonance.
Yes. You have to see it as a final choice. You can disappear into the role that earns you love. You can become the perfect image, the perfect employee, the perfect partner, or you can let your contradictions breathe.
Even if it means you lose your place.
Even if it means you lose your place in the story. Even if it means people think you're a bit much or intense or unstable.
It's scary, though, because we are wired to want that safety we talked about at the beginning. We want that warm blanket.
It is terrifying. It goes against every survival instinct we have. But the alternative is disappearing while you're still alive, becoming a ghost in your own machine, a perfect, polished shell with no one home.
You know, this whole conversation has really shifted how I view that feeling of being torn. I think I've spent a lot of my life thinking that if I just worked on myself enough, I wouldn't feel torn anymore. I'd be whole, consistent, I'd make sense.
And what we're learning today is that being torn is the condition of being human. We are creatures of Eros and Thanatos, creation and decay. We're stuck between our biology and our civilization. That tear isn't a wound you need to heal. It's the space where your life actually happens.
We aren't broken for feeling torn between who we are and who we should be. That tear is where the human lives.
Precisely. That's the vibration of life.
So for the listener who is dealing with that silent hum of exhaustion today, what is the takeaway? What do they do when they turn this off?
I would leave you with this thought. It's something I want you to really sit with. Civilization demands correspondence. It wants you to match the pattern. But the soul thrives in dissonance. Your inability to fit is not your flaw. It is your fidelity.
Your inability to fit is your fidelity. That is a powerful place to land.
It is. It changes the goal from happiness to aliveness.
As you go about your day-to-day, maybe just notice where you're trimming your edges. Notice where you are silencing a thought or swallowing an emotion just to keep the peace or maintain the image. And maybe just for a moment, let it breathe.
Don't fix it. Just feel it.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time.